hard work alone is not the secret to success. I feel like that's a lesson that we are taught, and then you have to learn the hard way that that's not true. Are you generally the first or last person in your family to get sick? Like, if it's going around, are you going to catch it before other people you know, or are you going to catch it last?
I'm probably the last one in my family, but I'm like the first one at work. You know what I mean? Like I'm the first one outside of my family.
So you're like the strongest in your family, but the weakest outside of it.
What's the worst sickness or thing you've gotten that you remember?
Food poisoning, 100%. Not even a question. I remember getting food poisoning and being amazed that you could feel this bad. Like, oh my gosh, I feel this bad and I'm not dying.
I'll say I've never had food poisoning that I know of, which is immaculate because I have eaten some grotesque things in my life.
Listen, I'm pretty upset about your zip-up sweater that you have there, fancy pants.
Why? I like this zip-up sweater.
Trying to class it up a little bit too much. That's too class. That's a work sweater. Is it not?
Yeah. I literally got in from work an hour ago. So yes, it is a work sweater.
Okay. How long does it take you? Does it take you an hour and a half to change?
I wanted to look good for you.
Okay. All right. Well, all right. Okay.
I don't understand it, and this is a bigger thing. I stopped wearing blue jeans to work, and all I've been wearing are slacks for the last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, why did you stop wearing blue jeans? Why did you start being fancy?
Well, you can't change a habit. No one likes it when you change a habit. It doesn't even really matter what your habit is to some degree. I just think that you can't change it. Like if you wore sweatpants to work all the time, I don't think people would bat an eye. It's amazing to me how you can be terrible at something, but as long as you're consistently terrible, you somehow are recognized better than someone who's consistently good and occasionally terrible.
Yeah, that shouldn't make sense what you just said, but it does.
It's better to be consistently bad and occasionally good than it is to be consistently good and occasionally bad.
All right, you ready for some shout-outs?
Would you disagree with that or agree with it?
I mean, I think eventually the system cracks. I think that works for a little while, but I think if you're bad long enough, I do still think hard work and honesty and putting in a good effort will ultimately succeed over someone that, is a terrible every day. It may take a while, but the shield will crack and the flaws will be exposed.
Oh, I think you've watched too many movies. I don't believe that at all.
I mean, I like to think this is part of my stupid optimism that, good people get good things.
I think good people get good things in ways that are not directly tied to what other people would immediately view as success. I think good people get good things in the way that they can develop like a good friendships, good family life. They can raise children that like them. But I think that people who are not good people are the ones that you see that are kind of the pinnacles of success. That's what it takes to get there. Like there's no nice way to get to $1 billion.
I don't disagree with that. I would also argue, and I don't know the numbers on this, that what billionaire isn't a product of their upbringing? What billionaire is a self-made billionaire?
Nobody.
Was grassroots. I'm sure there's somebody. I mean, there has to be. And I'm sure that it's people out there listening to us are like, hey, idiots, is this person, that person. But, yes, I don't disagree with you. But I also think, people get to be that rich or that powerful because they're just born into it.
Oh,
no one just happens there by happenstance, usually, especially not now.
I think that you could look at anybody who in their field who is quote unquote really successful, and if you drilled down into it enough, you would find a way where they ultimately benefited pretty significantly from blind luck.
Anyways, let's give some shout outs.
Okay.
Let's see here. We're going to start with Casey Peterson, Christine Hansen, Alexander Torres. Titan Holloway.
Ooh.
Never heard of
Ballsy
it.
to name your kid Titan.
Titan.
You gotta. I would never name my kid anything that could really come back around to haunt them.
Seems like a cool name, but it's like a tattoo to me. As it fades as you get older, that name will become just, oh yeah, my name's Titan. Wish my parents had never named me that. Just like I wish I'd never gotten this tattoo when I was 18 of a rubber ducky on my arm.
What's wrong with rubber ducks?
Yeah.
You
Joshua
don't have
West.
any tattoos, do you? Do you have any tattoos?
I do not know.
I don't either. I don't have anything against him. I've just personally never found something that I would get on my body.
Anyways, Dominique Riggs, Joshua West, Rory Cower, Jude Morgan, David Hart, and Isaac Taylor.
I feel like this is a lot of European people. Seems like a lot of European. Rory, Titan, Jude. Those seem like European names to me.
I could maybe next episode, I'll just do the bots. Because you can tell the bots, because their names are like so just, it's like AI dot Benny or something, or AO dot Brian, period.
Yeah, I mean, I think honestly half of the internet traffic is just bots. And I've seen some fascinating theories called the dead internet theory. I guess it's just one theory, but the dead internet theory that eventually it's all just going to be bots talking to bots. Bots creating AI being interacted with by other bots, and it's just all crap.
There was a article on CNBC, trusted news source, that basically said in 25 years, and they were piggybacking off Amazon saying that half of its workforce in a decade is going to be AI based, that we may not even talk to each other in 25 years, that everything would be through a computer or through some kind of AI technology. Like our best friends, like you would be talking to me, but I would be AI doing this podcast.
I just feel like whenever society goes in one direction, the overcorrection comes and then we find the middle. Because I'm sick of talking to people via typing. Like, I'm tired of it. I'm tired of typing everything. I'm tired of texting everything. I would just rather talk to somebody. So I feel like we're going to switch back the other way. We're going to get sick of it.
Well, I will say, I don't know if I agree with you or disagree with you, because you look at world events and there's a lot of nations that are unhappy with each other right now, and all it takes is one war to set us back. You know what I mean? Like, everything goes out the window. So who knows what's going to happen?
I think about that, like if we would ever have another big war. But I think that people in the more developed countries are just too lazy and selfish, myself included. Like, I'm not going to war. Like, I'm not doing that.
I don't know if I want to say this or not. I feel like patriotism in America, because I can't speak for any other country, and you are right, we have a pretty large European base, but I feel like patriotism in America is not what it was, even during like the Bush years when we, invaded Afghanistan and Iraq.
You have to be
different.
more united as a country, and I don't think that we're united enough as a country to like, we're going to war with Venezuela. Like, no, we're not. I'm not signing up. Like, we could go to war, but then I'm not going to get, like, I got plans on Sunday. I think that we're ultimately too selfish, and it's a good thing, right? Like, we don't want to go to war, but I think that ultimately we're too selfish.
We need Lee Greenwood and $2,000 tax surplus checks is what we need.
Who's Lee Greenwood?
Come on, dude. God Bless the USA, that song. Lee Greenwood.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You're from Kansas, man. That's like your anthem.
Is Lee Greenwood from Kansas? Did he live next door to me?
That's your like anthem out there in them country things, man.
No one in Kansas talks like that.
Everybody does. I've met some of your friends. Well, this seems like a good idea. 50-year mortgages. What do you think about those?
It just doesn't seem like that could possibly be a good idea. The idea of 50 years. If we have reached the point where we need 50-year mortgages, we need to fix the real problem, not try to come up with a fake solution.
I mean, it looks good on paper. Like, I did like a 50-year mortgage calculator, and it seems great until you realize if you actually do make it to that 50th year, how much you've paid. Like, just
paid
the
a lot
mortgage
more
company.
money.
Yeah, it's it's just. I agree. You said it perfectly. If that's where we're at, we should kind of look at how to fix the problem,
right? As opposed to like
to
the solution is to make a worse solution. Like, what's the solution to houses being too unaffordable? Well, make them cost more money.
Yeah, man, that's just. Speaking of, like I said, there isn't a whole lot of positives, but we'll try to have a positive spin
right now.
For those of you that aren't in America, the United States government is currently shut down because left and right can't figure out what's going on. But regardless, my question to you is, do you feel safe, or would you feel safe flying currently?
Oh, I mean, yeah, because ultimately, like, the numbers are the numbers at the end of the day, right? And I think that you do ultimately go by the statistics of it. So, would I feel safe once I'm there and up? Yeah, I would. But I certainly feel very different about flying than I did a couple of years ago.
So, for instance, we're recording this on a weekday afternoon, and as of right now, there are 600 delays and 200 flight cancellations across the United States of America. And so then my second follow-up question is to you. Thanksgiving's coming up. Busiest travel day of the year. How important is family for you to say, I'm going to wait, go through all the garbage to get to you, or, no, I'm not coming this year because it's going to be an insane mess, assuming the government is still shut down in a week and a half?
I left home at 18 and have not spent a Thanksgiving with my family since. I think that answers your question. Thanksgiving has never been a big holiday for me. It's never been a big thing. So I'm sure that I've probably seen my family at some point in between there, but I'd really have to think about it to think of a time where I saw my family over Thanksgiving since I was 18. I'd have to think about it.
Well, I tell you what, next year you can come out to Detroit and you can be at my Thanksgiving.
Well, I don't want to go to your Thanksgiving.
Oh, you most definitely would want to come to my Thanksgiving.
You overcook things. I've seen pictures of the meat that you cook, and it's overcooked, and it doesn't look
sent
great.
me a cake, and then you're like, this is a pancake.
No, that's a cake. That's when you're a real chef like myself, a pancake looks like a cake. When you're a chef like you, your meat looks burnt and flavorless.
Could see, like, 15 years ago, you didn't even know what football was, and now you ridicule me and tell me that I'm not a football fan.
You're not a football fan.
You do this to everything.
The Detroit Lions don't play football. You can't call what the Detroit Lions do football. That's an insult to the rest of the league.
Are you sure? Because I'm quite certain they kicked the pants off the Washington Commanders this past weekend.
Wow. So they beat up on a team that doesn't even have their main quarterback playing? That changes their name every 15 seconds?
Oof. Speaking of Jaden Daniels, did you see that where he dislocated his elbow?
I don't like to see people get injured. I can't watch it. Anything where I see somebody's bone getting like twisted or broken, or whenever I see a body part bending in a way that it is not supposed to bend, I cannot watch that. I can't turn the channel fast enough when I see that.
I guess for those of you that have never seen it, that are not weak at heart or have a soft stomach, check it out. But it is, it's insane. I don't know how he didn't mess up a ligament, a tendon. He just dislocated his elbow. I have no idea. Watch it and talk about it with your friends. But I don't get it.
I don't ever want to see people get. Seeing people get injured I like watching fail things where somebody gets. I don't mind watching things where it looks like somebody gets hurt, but they're okay. Like when somebody walks into a stop sign or crashes when they're trying to show off on a motorcycle that they just bought. I like those kind of things, but I don't like sports injuries. They're too nasty for me.
Well, let's go to something way better.
Okay.
And that's an actual federal indictment against two Major League Baseball pitchers who were apparently throwing pitches, literally and figuratively, to win bets. And here's I'll skip the entire story just to tell you that the one pitcher who is probably the mastermind of this did all of that, threw his career away, blah blah blah, for about $16,000. He was set to make $32 million the end of next year.
God, people can't see past it. But for some people, it's never how much they have; it's how much they could get. Right? You get like $32 million. Like, well, I bet you could have made an extra $16,000 and made $32 million, $16,000.
It just makes no sense. I mean, yeah, I just don't get it.
I just don't want the idea that anybody's going to clutch their pearls about about the fact that we have turned sports. Maybe it was before, but essentially all about gambling. You cannot watch any sports-related program and not hear something about gambling. Whether they're talking about it, the whole show is dedicated to it, or they're sponsored by it. So this idea that like, oh my God, people are gambling. Can you believe it? Like, what did you think was going to happen?
I mean,
did you get
you're
it?
Not wrong.
Did you
even in baseball?
Did you get it? I saw you trying to work on it.
Why are you an asshole?
Like, I just wanted, like, it was going on for so long. I just wanted to know if you finally got it.
We're talking. People are listening. They're not necessarily seeing at this point what I'm doing. But yes, I'm picking my nose.
I'm okay with picking my nose. I think I would strongly argue that picking your nose has slowly become more socially acceptable.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't think so. You know what I have noticed that while we're talking about this kind of thing is a lot more people are farting in public.
I'm telling you, bodily maintenance, whether that is picking your nose, farting, or burping, is all becoming much more socially acceptable.
But so I don't want to be that person, but like, don't walk into my office or walk into the bathroom, fucking shit your pants, and walk out and just act like it's okay. Like, I don't even do that for the most part.
Oh, somebody walks into your office and farts?
I mean, there's multiple times, and I'm not going to name any names, obviously.
I think they're doing it on purpose.
Because, I am a manager and all, and I don't want to do that. But I will tell you that there are people that I know come in there and they fart and leave, and I'm waiting for them to say something, maybe the next day or something. Nope, they just probably do it again.
Wait a minute, are you in there? They walk into your office while you're in there, fart, and then leave?
No,
or do they or do they like sneak into your office, like point their butt in, fart in your office, and keep walking?
No, first off, imagine my office. It's a concrete cell, legitimately. I don't have any windows. I barely have ventilation. I have a door, but it's literally, there's no light, right? Someone comes in, we're talking, they fart, they get up, and they leave. It's just stale air. I don't have a vent pushing the air around. You know what I mean? It's just
a fan.
There.
I mean, to me, what this is asking for, what you seem to be calling on,
Here we go.
is I would like to ask for all of the people that John works with to go and fart in his office. I think that we, as a society, can find something to come together and all go and fart in John's office. Don't call down the thunder if you're not ready for the rain. Because that's what you did. Don't complain about something like that and expect not to have repercussions of everyone coming in to fart in your office. This episode is going to come out on Thursday, 11/13. I expect John's office to be filled with farts. Filled with farts by Friday. I am calling upon all of John's coworkers to please, for the sake of all that is holy, fart in his office every day.
Well, I am proud to say that I work with upstanding professionals who would not do that
in your office and leave.
Because, just so everyone out there knows that's maybe listening to this, as it comes out late in the week, Nick will text me Friday and say he'll want a status update, or he'll come up with some witty bullshit to text me about.
I would really appreciate it too if people who work with John find us on social media and then send me a quick message every time they fart in your office. And I will give multiple thumbs up. And I will keep track of the number of people who fart in your office. And I hope it's
Can we move on?
I hope it's a nonstop stream. I hope you've got to be in there in the gas mask, because that's what you deserve. And you should take it, quite frankly, in a positive light, because there is no greater honor amongst men than being insulted and ridiculed, because it means other men like you.
Can we just move on? I really shouldn't have said that, and now
you shouldn't have said it. No,
my Friday is gonna smell like fucking cheeseburgers.
God, I
just
hope somebody
moldy
has
milkshakes.
Chili. I hope somebody has Chili's and microwave Hot Pockets and just goes in there. I hope it's somebody who is the cleaning crew. I hope the cleaning crew comes in there one day and just every time they fart, they just go in there and they fart in your office and they just leave it all weekend for you. I hope people start like, oh.
Nope. You know why they won't? Because they are professional people. All right.
That's not true at all.
Professional people. All right. Can we just move on? I don't want to talk about this anymore.
Okay. Are you ready? This segues in to our top 5, which is top 5 lessons you had to learn the hard way. John is about to have to learn the hard way. Don't complain about people farting in your office, because then they'll really start to fart in your office. I hope they sit in your chair and fart it. I hope that one day you get up, you leave your office to go to another meeting, you come back like an hour, 2 hours later, you sit down in your chair and it's warm. And you wonder why. But you won't wonder why, because you'll know why. Everybody's farting in John's office. I hope somebody changes your name, the name tile that you have on your office, from John's office to Fart Box. I hope somebody puts Fart Box up on your office. I hope it's the general manager.
Are we done? Can we? He might. I don't know. He may
amazing.
do that.
I hope he changes it to Fart Box.
Listen, if you're if any of my bosses are listening, can you at least put Mr. Fart Box, please? Just give me the title.
God. I, for some reason, thought of this one guy that I used to work with, whose name will remain nameless. It definitely wasn't someone named Eric Fink, who every time he used to come over to talk to me, because it was on the weekends when I was the news anchor for the weekends, and every time he came over to talk to me, I would do an all page on the telephone and then hold the telephone up to whatever he was going to come walk over and say to me, so it went out throughout the entire building.
You're such a douchebag.
It just made me sad. I could not stop laughing. And he fell for it every time because I could see him coming. And so I would dial it up so that whatever he came over and said to me, all I had to do was just like tip the phone real quick. And everything that he said would then be broadcast throughout the entire station compound.
Oh my God. I hope he punched you or did something to you.
No, he didn't find it nearly as funny as I did.
No, it's not that
Shout
funny.
out to Eric. Okay. Oh, so you ready for our top 5? Did I say what it was?
No, you haven't yet.
Top 5 lessons you have to learn the hard way. What's your number 5?
Learn how to wash your clothes properly. And I say that with the specificness of learn how to dry them properly, because I cannot tell you how many shirts, sweaters, pants that I've shrunk, and I just try to wear them, and I go from, an extra large, sometimes a 2X, down to a medium, and it's just embarrassing as shit.
Oh, I feel like, how many... I think this is about lessons you've learned. It doesn't seem like you've learned this lesson.
Oh, yeah, I don't do the medium thing anymore at all.
Oh,
not
good.
even close.
Yeah,
not even close.
I guess my parents made me do my laundry from like 8th grade. or not 8th grade, from like, I remember being like 8 or 9 years old, and my parents were like, go do your laundry.
No, I call it microwaving your clothes, and I microwave so many, probably at least 2 dozen, sweaters, shirts, pants. It's embarrassing.
Okay. All right. Well, from that big life lesson, my number 5 is the fear of something is always worse than the thing itself.
Oh, so you're gonna go broad picture here. I have some specific ones. For myself.
I have some specific ones. I feel like that is specific. The fear of something is always worse than the thing it is. Wait, no, did I say that right? Yeah. The fear of something is always worse than the actual thing.
I just don't know, like, why did you have to learn that the hard way? Give us an example.
Oh, because like whenever you go and get a shot, you're always like, oh my gosh, I'm going to get a shot. It's going to hurt. I don't want to get this shot. It's going to hurt. And you worry about it for like a day or 2 days, and then you get the shot and you're like, it's over.
For me, it's things like public speaking or, meeting people. It's actually like they're more nervous than you are half the time, and it's not that bad.
Oh, that's, I feel like, another life lesson that's not on my top 5, but it's like everybody's in the same boat as you are. Nobody in life knows what they're doing, and we're all just trying to get through this awkwardly at the same time.
And then we die. My number 4 is just knowing your limits in terms of drinking alcohol.
Do you feel like you've learned, again, do you feel like you've actually learned that lesson?
I do. I can honestly say, at least this entire year for 2025, that there is not one time where I remember going, man, I drank way too much. Like I've held it in control, and I know that that's a big deal for me because I can kind of have an addictive personality sometimes. So
proud of you.
So
my number 4 is don't. My number 4 is don't skip maintenance. You got to do maintenance. And you learn that lesson the hard way the first time you don't take care of something that you should have been taking care of, and then it ends up costing you way more. Don't skip on maintenance.
I mean, I could give you multiple car maintenance things where I ignored them, and in the end I had to buy a tire or 2 tires or a radiator when I could have just solved it or fixed it when it was a $10 fix, or maybe, a Bell Tire could have fixed the flat for me for free. Kind of thing.
Oh, yeah. This, what's amazing to me is how little we learn from the people around us. Because none of these are, groundbreaking lessons of life. Like, oh, yeah, everybody could have told. Anybody listening would probably be like, yeah, I could have told you that. But you still don't learn the lesson until you do it the hard way.
So this may seem like everyone knows this, and maybe I just was dumb. But my number 3 is just hygiene, but specifically washing your hands after the bathroom. I learned this the hard way about a decade and a half ago in a public bathroom when I contracted some kind of virus from not using the bathroom, walking out. I got super sick to the point to where I was like, damn, yep, now I know why they say wash your hands every time you use the bathroom.
Yeah. What virus was it? What kind of bathroom were you in? I'm not sure if you're hinting at some sort of... Did you get it was an STD?
It was not an STD. No, this was... I mean, it's an incredibly gross story that I can tell.
Oh, I don't really
want
to
hear a minute if you want.
Can you just tell me the name of the virus and skip all the particulars about it?
The hospitals just said that it was just a stomach virus. That's all they would tell me.
Oh. Yeah, it's STD.
Sure. Whatever you say.
My number 3 is your job doesn't care about you.
Oof,
I feel like that's a lesson
true.
that you have to learn the hard way. And you have to learn it at every job that you go to, that the job doesn't ultimately care about you. The people do, but the job does not.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I agree with you wholeheartedly, but I do think, a lot of it is what you make of it. Yes, at the end of the day, unless you're literally working for yourself or a super small business, you're a number and you're replaceable, and it is what it is. But it's kind of like your doctor thing. If I don't think of it that way, if I think I'm an all-star, then I will be an all-star.
Okay. Oh, good. Hey, listen, anytime, look, if you want to be delusional, you go ahead and do that. What's your number 2?
So, I realize 3 out of my top 5 have to do with, like, hygiene stuff. That's not very good.
No. I've never thought of you as a dirty person. Maybe, but I mean, are you a dirty person?
I wouldn't say I'm dirty, but, like, it's just, like, you're at a public restroom, you're in a bar, whatever, you go to the bathroom, you don't think you're going to walk out of the bathroom by not washing your hands the one time and get a brain-eating amoeba, you know what I mean? Like, but it happens. Lesson learned the hard way.
Okay. All right, what was your number two?
My number 2 is always putting the toilet seat down.
I just don't know what you're doing, and I don't know what's going on with you in private.
This was
like,
this was a one of my grandmothers would kick the shit out of me if I used the bathroom and left the toilet lit up and didn't put it down for the women in the house.
Yeah.
For her.
I never understood that. Why can't they just look and right? Like I can put it up. Why can't you put it down? Why do I have to do 2 things and you do nothing?
Well, I tell you what, when you get hit, with a swatch or something like that, I mean, that hurts, and that's a lesson that you learn the hard way. So even if I'm in a public restroom, I put the toilet seat down, wash my hands for a minute and a half, and I go on my way.
Okay. I like how your top 5 is all like basic hygiene things, and mine is all like deep philosophical commentary on life.
I know, it's usually the other way around.
Like, I would agree.
We've changed.
My number 2 is hard work doesn't really mean anything. Hard work is not going to get you to where you want it to get you. You need to work hard, but hard work alone is not the secret to success. It's just not. I feel like that's a lesson that we are taught, and then you have to learn the hard way that that's not true.
I mean, it's yes. I'll just say yes.
Okay.
I don't. Yeah,
I know. I feel like you're still delusional about employment.
No, I actually. I mean, I was trying not to be too down on it, but I think the American thought of working is just fabricated on a lie. It's built on a lie. There is no work-life balance. Your job doesn't really care about you. You could put in 20 hours a day and kill yourself, keel over tomorrow, and you'll be replaced in a week. And all they'll do is, send your wife a flowers. You know what I mean? Like, they don't care. They don't. You're absolutely right.
Oh, no. Like, people our age were sold a dream, and the only people that were dream came true was the people who were making money off of you. Like, it was just a way, like, hey, baby, you know what? Sell 15 more, and you're going to be, it's going to be good. Like, okay.
I mean, that's how it's always worked. But it just still sucks when it hits you. That is a hard lesson to learn.
For somebody with so many hygiene complaints, I don't see why you're so concerned about people going and farting in your office.
These are just lessons that you learn the hard way. I learned the hard way.
Number 1, don't complain about people farting in your office. That should be your number 1. What is your number 1, though?
Don't be a stubborn douchebag and tell people that you don't need suntan lotion when you're more translucent than a vampire.
Oh, wait, is this what? Are you telling people that you don't need sun? What? What are you talking about?
So my wife and I, our first like kind of excursion date, whatever you want to call it, where we went somewhere was to Tampa, was to St. Pete. It was a day trip. I think we've been dating for a week or 2. We're both Irish and German, both pretty pasty. Neither of us wore suntan lotion. We fell asleep on the beach in the middle of the day. 3rd-degree burns.
Oh, God. How did you not wake up? Did you not feel your skin searing off?
It was, I mean, it was, so those of you out there that have had a really bad burn, like, you could peel layers of my back off, like the dead skin. Like, it looked like a cheese screen, almost.
Oh, I've never had that happen to me.
Yeah.
I've never gotten a really bad sunburn.
I now use suntan lotion every time. Fuck, I'll wear sun shirts. It can be 70 degrees and cloudy, and I'll wear a sun shirt, and it's not even because I'm a bigger guy. It's just because I don't want to get burned.
I mean, at least, like, look, you can make fun of the fact that all of these things seem to be things that people should have learned a long time ago, right? Like, don't over dry your clothes, wash your hands when you go to the bathroom, put sunscreen on when you're going to the beach. But the important thing is that you're learning these lessons, right? Maybe you learned them 20 to 30 years after other people learned them, but improvement is improvement, right? Like, it's not where you start, it's where you finish.
I think we all have different paths that we follow, and I'm sure everyone's top 5 would be completely different than the next.
I would agree. I don't know if there's anybody else who's going to have wash your hands after you go to the bathroom on their top 5.
Things you learn the hard way.
Man, my number 1 is life is both fast and slow. It goes so quickly, but it also moves so slowly and can be such a grind. I don't think that anybody really tells you when you're growing up how much of a grind life becomes. And that, like, the real hard part is just grinding this out day after day after day and still being ready to seize opportunities. I feel like it's a marathon where you never realize that you're going to have to suddenly sprint.
I mean, I don't know if I actually agree with that. It's a sludge, you know.
Oh,
I feel like
a grind.
I don't. I think life just goes by now. I mean, you know, 15 years ago seems like a year ago to me.
That's what I mean in the sense that it's such a grind that you have to still kind of find the enjoyment in life when it does become such a grind, that it can become just day after day after day as you get older, and you still have to remember to seize those moments of opportunities where you can do something different and enjoy life again, because it can be such a grind that can wear you down.
Like, make sure you wash your hands in public restrooms.
Make sure you wash, right?
I didn't do it the one time, and look what happened. I got sick. I let my guard down.
You didn't respect the grind that is life. You've got to approach life every day as if it's completely brand new to you, even though most of your day is spent doing the same old things that you've always done. You have to approach each new day like you've never been there, when most of your day is just doing the same thing over and over and over again.
I feel like you should end it there.
I'm going to end it there. I don't have anything else.